As far as we've been told, we are going to be a part of that process. There are going to be other people within the city and outside of the city, as customary for all agencies when they hire an administrator. That there's outside, possibly chiefs or city managers as part of the process doing an interview panel, and then internally department heads and our union as being part of that. As far as names, we don't know who those are going to be yet, and it hasn't, like I said, that flyer for that position has not been put out to my knowledge as of yet, so that process has not been started yet. And as far as where that's going to go in the process, right now within the city manager is the person responsible at the end of the day for making the final decision. He's come to us and asked us to give our input in the process, which we want to respect and we want to be a part of. And we'd like to see the process remain the same. We think that having him go to our members and other departments within the city for input for who should be the next police chief and making that decision is the job he was hired for. So
thank you.
As part of the CERT team, and I'm trained in that, we always have things ready just in case. And that's kind of my feeling. If the police department bought a piece of equipment that's good in case something happens, doesn't that make more sense to be ready than have to say, oh my God, if we had bought that, we could have taken care of this?
And that's something that at the end of the day, if you're referring to the vehicle, the MRAP,
Yeah.
Is going to have to be discussed between council and the administration on whether or not that vehicle remains. But definitely, it is something that you are preparing for the incident prior to it occurring. And if anything, you want to learn from past incidents and past areas of vulnerability. Like you mentioned the Hollywood shootout, a lot was learned from that. A lot of agencies didn't carry assault rifles in their vehicles prior to that incident. And it was, direct result of that and other incidents prior to that led to assault rifles being carried in the vehicle. And it was because we were responding to incidents and we were outgunned. So,
It just makes more sense to me to be ready.
Yes, she's right on that. We need that vehicle here.
well,
We don't know.
go to the council meeting.
We don't know what
Sir,
the-
how many of you know that we already have an armored vehicle?
Yeah.
How many of you know this? We already have an armored vehicle in the city.
Exactly.
Why do we have it? We have it because, like Corporal was saying, it's just in case. We have the vehicle. Now, that vehicle will not stop rifle rounds. This one will. It's just an upgrade that costs the city nothing.
Aren't you using a converted armored car?
Yes.
We're using an old man's car right now as our armored vehicle.
And that vehicle costs nothing. And this vehicle is cost nothing. Maintenance, somebody wants to. Go ahead.
Question here?
One at a time, please.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Actually, how many square miles is the city of Downey?
26.
And then what are the average percent, or how many calls on average do you get daily?
I'm sorry, in the summertime, about 75 per shift, so well over 125 per day.
And then at what scale are those crimes? Are they domestic, are they robbery, or are they just, hey, I think I saw something?
It's a mix. It goes from civil issues all the way up to major incidents.
Okay, and then what's the closest school police department?
The closest what?
School PD,
School police department?
School Police Department, Riverside City College.
so that's not close. How do you work with the casino? Do they have their own police department that they can send officers in to talk to you?
No.
No, they do not.
No, they do not. How many apartment communities do you have in the city?
Apartment communities?
Ten?
10 that I can think of. There's probably more than that, but about 10.
I insure some of them.
So do you guys participate in the crime-free program within the city then?
No.
No, not yet.
Areas.
And then my last question is, do you have Nixle?
What?
Nixle?
Nixle?
We don't know what that is, so I would say no.
Sorry. Nixle is a software that the department can
Yes.
utilize
We don't have that.
When there's something, when there's a crime happening or something's happened in the city, it'll send out a mass text message to all the residents.
No, we do not.
We do not.
No.
No. The school district has news.
I don't know.
Yeah, the department could have news.
I'm sorry, we'll get to you. He's been waiting a while.
Go ahead.
First of all, background, retired from the LAPD, sergeant, watch commander, assistant watch commander. At the same time, I ran a 30-person reserve program for 15 years, extra. And I did that because these people were, you cannot give up people who volunteer. My question is, can you go to the sheriff's department and find out what their reserve program is doing and copy that? And so in 6 months, 8 months, you'll be able to put reserve officers in the street as partners with your officers.
That would be something that,
Now, you have to go to another department because you haven't done it yet to find out how they get it done. For the simple reason they have to go into some type of training program.
right, we do have,
Not
you should say, a reserve program, but we have, I believe right now, one reserve officer at this time, and he's on a very limited basis. He does not work patrol. And it would be something that, we have discussed with administration and with the city. It's something that we would like to see happen.
If this would be cost cutting,
Yes,
we were able to put out reserve officers working alone after a lot of training.
right,
And also, before that training, reserve officers working with a partner, all armed. And those who weren't armed, there were two sets. Work the station, releasing people from the station to the street, such as the desk. The other is, I take issue with the man that says that police shootings are more prevalent than terrorist shootings. Of course they are. If we're out in the street, and we're being forced and faced with these things, and it's, do I do it, or do I know, or do I get killed? Or does that person get killed? Well, these are decisions you make within 2 to 3 seconds. And if you were in the streets every night, or every day, facing these things, there are shootings. Let me tell you, I was involved in quite a few of them for investigation.
next question.
The drug and gang task force, how does your department interact with them, and are we going to continue to see them in our community? I think they've been just a great help on the east side over there.
Right now, we have a gang task force in the city, actually for the San Antonio Pass. And we have one officer that is assigned to the gang task force with sheriff's department personnel and probation, county probation officer. It had a Beaumont officer that Beaumont has since pulled their officer out of the gang task force. As far as drugs, we no longer have a narcotics task force working within the city. And that's something also with staffing levels that, that kind of thing was taken away when we lost the bodies and the budget to do it. It is something that is beneficial because now we on a daily basis, we get complaints regarding narcotics and they come to patrol officers. Well, there are certain patrol officers, myself included, that enjoy working dope and like going after dope. It's very difficult to work a narcotics complaint in a black and white. You can watch a house all day long, but it kind of looks like a normal house after about an hour sitting there when you're sitting in a black and white. So, it's definitely something that we would like to see come back. In the past, I was not here when they had it. They had what was called a set team and basically work those kinds of things. And we'd love to see that come back as an association.
But just to put it in a quick perspective, our department is no longer a proactive agency. We're no longer a proactive police agency. We do not have the time or the manpower to proactively go out and look for people who are committing crime. We are strictly 100% a reactive agency. And that's not good in law enforcement. Yes, sir.
I'm on the city council and food, right? And I've heard the city council mention, the administration mention. I'm really supposed to be quiet, but I really think I should. make some comments. First of all, in regard to the turning us into the sheriff's department, the city manager and the city manager of Portland got together about a year ago and looked into it. They did not ask the city council, they did not inform us, and we've heard nothing since except that I understand that they're no longer even looking at it. The city council is not interested in that. There is no question in my mind, of course I'm only talking about myself, but there's no question in my mind that that whole idea is completely dead. We're going to keep our police force, and I'm glad that everyone here applauded when we heard that. That's number one. Number two, we certainly have two smaller police departments. There's no question about that, and we all appreciate what the police are doing.
Can you stand up, because we
We can't really hear back
Oh,
here.
sorry. Okay, I'll even take off my jacket. Okay. The budget is very, very tight. It's as simple as that. Whenever we talk about anything when it comes to the budget, there's complaints. If anyone on the city council says we should raise the water rates, you know what's going to happen. If we suggest we raise the electric rates, you know what's going to happen. The only way we're going to get money for a better police department, for more people on the police department, is to increase the tax base, which is to bring more business into Benning. We're trying to do that, but we have to recognize Benning is basically a low-income city in general. Our budget is so tight that there's just no money for more police. It's straightforward. If anyone can find money in the budget, great. You know, we encourage you to take a look at our budget, see what is available. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing available, and we're looking at it continuously. We appreciate what the police are doing, but right